Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
And I'm Matt. And I'm Bob. How's it going?
The three of us are here today to do an on snow 2025 Enforcer 99 review. I'm pretty excited. We've got two different links. Bob, what link are you on?
The 185.
Yeah, which puts me on the 179. Matt is going to start on the Enforcer 104. Basically what we're going to do is kind of cycle around through them, and the filmer will always be on the Enforcer 104.
Good filming ski.
Yeah,
Perfect.
No, it should be really fun. I don't really know what we're going to encounter today for snow conditions. We just went through a bit of a thaw freeze. I guess we're 2 days out from that. Bob, you and I skied these yesterday directly after the thaw freeze, and what do you think?
Well, firstly, the mountain did a great job of making it smooth.
Yep.
You know, so we at least had smoothness to contend with. But it was firm, but just a testament to how well these 99s hold on ice.
Yep.
And how stable they are, and like it just goes to show you that Nordica does a great job with these skis.
Yep.
And we've kind of gone back and forth as to, you know, 94 and 99, what's the best kind of Vermont choice? And a day like yesterday is really a feather in the cap for the 99.
Totally.
Really impressive.
Yeah, so my run, we went down North Slope.
Yep.
Which was like kind of firm and bumpy at the same time.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking like how comfortable this ski made me feel in that situation. Like there are so many skis where just skiing terrain like that with conditions like that, it would be really nerve-wracking because the ski would get all twitchy.
Yeah.
And this like holds an edge well enough through the firm stuff, but like kind of absorbs things too, so it like keeps a really consistent, basically like edge contact with the snow.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I don't know how well I skied it. I haven't actually watched that footage yet, but the ski did great.
You could tell that I think that was the bumpier.
That was definitely bumpier
versus my run.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could tell a little bit.
So anyways, we're gonna take a run here, see what we find, and then yeah, we'll talk to you, let you know what we find.
Yep.
Go ahead, an animal on his head.
Yeah, he's wild.
All right, ready?
Yep.
All right, first run in the books, and that was interesting.
Yeah. Perry was more granular.
Yeah.
Gondolier was more packed.
Yeah.
More success on Gondolier.
That's a run that we do very often. You kind of drop over Nosedive and then cut over to the gondola, because the gondola here on weekdays doesn't open till 9. Normally Perry Merrill is fantastic, but it was definitely like that peel away kind of granular snow on the surface, and then just like super firm underneath. I think like the most fun for me on that run was doing that little spot up on Nosedive, a little off-piste scenario. And you know, I knew we were gonna encounter variable conditions, and that was about as variable as you can get. It was like scoured ice at the top, and then there was actually some soft snow when you got in there.
Yeah.
And like not ideal conditions, but the ski did great.
Right. I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like, if you want to ski a lot, you got to deal with adverse stuff.
Yeah. And I think like Enforcer has always, that's always been like part of the ski's deal, is that it can deal with some variable conditions and less than ideal snow surface.
Totally.
So that was cool. Matt, I'm gonna make you film again.
Sure.
So Bob and I can try that again and do Gondolier, because yeah, that did feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So we'll meet you back in a run. We're gonna just do chats down here. It's a little bit windy on the lift, so try and make it so you can hear us. All right, run 2 now in the books. Pretty much the same thing, except came down Gondolier. I would say the snow was a little bit better.
more of a packed powder feel in a very generous sense.
Yeah,
I
you're
guess.
still breaking through to some
Yeah.
really firm stuff underneath. Starting with that quick little line up top, what'd you think, Bob?
Again, icy to get in.
Yep.
Like you want something with grip
Yep,
that you can, that won't just wash out.
totally.
So like A+ for that.
Yep.
And then you get into the soft snow, and like enforcers always have been, like that rocker really just helps you stay
That-
right on top of this stuff.
Well, and like I didn't know where you were going with when you said rocker. I noticed that extra tail rocker on the 99 in there too.
Yeah.
I feel like in that situation in particular, the 100 would be fine on the top where it's icy. You'd have that trust factor, but
Yeah.
then I feel like it would be more challenging to flick the tail out.
Yep.
I don't know if you had those thoughts as you were skiing down too.
This is my first time on the 185.
Yeah,
So
cool.
I am kind of learning as I go, and
Yep.
you know, the more that you mention it, the more I feel it, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. It was kind of in the forefront of my thoughts going down that. And then groomer, you looked great. Started off with some shorter turns.
How do they make it feel light and energetic?
When you're doing that.
When, on
Yeah.
a ski like this, like that's my biggest kind of impression overall, is like, how do they do it? How do they make it that quick and that stable? Like,
Yeah.
those benefits I think are really, really nice.
And
in this new
tough
ski.
characteristics to combine into a single ski.
Totally.
Yeah. My big thing on that run, and I guess the last one too, was this ski is really good when you're putting it up on edge and you don't know exactly what the snow surface is going to be like.
Yeah.
Like it kind of just, like some of those turns were super, super firm, and some of them were just pure kind of like, 2-3 inch deep packed powder. And regardless of what it was,
Yeah.
the ski handled it just fine. It's almost like the ski adapts better than I did.
It has excellent modulation capabilities, kind of
Yeah.
that suppleness
Right.
of being able to adjust on the fly.
Adjust mid-turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you guys want to switch?
Sure.
All right.
No, but yeah.
Hey, you can ski a 104 and film. You love filming.
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, we'll get Matt onto this 185/99, and then we'll go take another run and talk to you in a little bit. This is supposed to be a thumbs up, I promise.
All right, bit of a change up. Nosedive.
It was
Firmer.
way firmer.
Way Yeah.
Almost better.
Matt got you on that top section there, like a little steeper. Looked like you were holding just fine on that stuff.
Totally. And as you guys were saying, I'm just going to echo it again. But that little couloir, little steep section.
That's the couloir. Yeah. I like
the
it.
couloir.
I'm here for it.
You definitely had full confidence on the icy stuff up
Yeah.
top. And then as soon as you got into that soft stuff, it was just a seamless transition.
There's like
the
decent
entire way.
snow in there.
Totally.
It's pretty cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the way that you can release the tails is not what you would expect
From
with
an
a ski like
enforcer
this.
in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then once we got onto the actual on-piste section, oh man, it's been a while since I've been on these, and it's always fun to come back because as soon as you lay an edge down, they just hold you there. You can trust it all the way through.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
been a while since I've been on a ski like this where you just have full confidence every time you lean it over. So just impeccable. It's every time they shock me.
So edge hold good, kind of to both of you. I would say that we were, that nice open trail, you can open it up. Like we were hitting some pretty high speeds. Like,
Yeah.
how do you
I'd say
feel
so.
about that stability?
Like, it's great. If
Yeah.
anything, the issue is the other side. With
Right.
these skis, that's
Yeah.
all. I feel like that's always been the conversation with enforcers is like, yeah, you get them up to 40 miles an hour or whatever we were doing, probably around that, and they feel fantastic. And
Yeah.
like nice firm snow at speed, great. It's like whether they're enjoyable at slow speeds. I feel like that's more the question. And I would say they're more enjoyable at slow speeds than ever before.
I would agree that there's a marked improvement
Yeah.
in that slower speed
Right.
kind of ability to,
Like this
have
lower
fun.
section of Nosedive is not particularly steep.
right.
And I feel like I've probably skied enforcers on that before where you're like, you basically just stop skiing halfway down.
Sure.
Because you're like, oh, well, that's not really turning anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do feel like just maybe must just be bringing that metal in a tiny bit, and maybe like the shorter effective edge from the tail rocker.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where to give the credit, but they do feel a little snappier, a little more responsive at slower speeds.
And then going back to our Force 94 review from the beginning of the year, I know it's not the same ski, but it's a different shape now, and those slower speed instances, these are much better.
Yeah.
From what I remember, a lot more enjoyable.
So, yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, that was a good test run because you got kind of like both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the low end of the spectrum, do you want to go do a slow side run?
Yeah, but we'll probably still go pretty fast.
Yeah, we just affectionately refer to that side of the mountain as the slow side, and I do mean affectionately because it's fun over there. Nice rolling terrain. You guys have seen tons of footage from like Sunrise Standard, so let's go do that.
Sounds good.
I will miss our couloir.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll find something equally as entertaining.
Adventurous.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go do that, and then we'll catch you in another run. All right, that was our 4th run of the day, and just like kind of a nice mellow groomer, but still pretty challenging conditions. You're still like kind of asking a lot out of the ski.
Totally.
And I felt like it did quite well. Like following you looked great.
Felt great too. Yeah, like I know this is the slow side, and they were just as enjoyable as something steep and fast.
Yeah.
Like they're very versatile in that sense, where whatever changes they made, we can't really pin it down yet, but it's a magic formula.
It is a really good formula. It's still a lot of ski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like it did pretty well down here on Lower Gulch. That was like another reminder of its slower speed compliance that we've gained. But yeah, it's still kind of tiring, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's heavy. There's still 2 sheets of metal. Like, there's definitely things that still put it on that upper end.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
like those incremental kind of changes, the moving of the mount point, the tail rocker, the thinning of the metal, like those all make a move in this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like a good reminder that it's 100 underfoot basically with 2 sheets of metal.
Yeah, and an expert skier is going to get the most out of it for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like do you feel like it's opened up any of like the lower ability level?
I feel like it's followed the trajectory of early enforcer skiers like myself, who were 35 years old
Oh, sure.
when I first got on an Enforcer 100.
Yeah.
And now that I'm 46.
That's a great, I mean, honestly, that's a great point. And like,
Yeah.
it kind of works too, because then like Matt being younger, like I would venture a guess that most skiers your age want a little more tail rocker than you did when you were 35.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that is like a fun way to think about it.
Yeah.
I do think it would be like more forgiving for like an intermediate level skier, but I don't think the correct choice necessarily.
No, I mean, there's certainly better choices. And
Yeah.
like, you know, on that stuff when it firmed up, like following you when it was getting pretty scraped and pretty firm.
Yeah.
It's asking a lot.
Totally.
Out of a ski. It's asking a lot out of a true frontside ski.
Right.
To be able to hold on that. I
Right.
mean, that's like almost like World Cup level.
Boilerplate.
Yeah, firmness. So I wouldn't really call it a limitation of the ski, just an aberration of conditions.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
I do think that one scenario would be, say you were a pretty high intermediate and you had plans to, you really wanted to progress with your own skiing in a year and you didn't have that much money to spend, so you wanted to get a ski that you'd be able to progress with. I do think that these could be an option, but you would really have to be committed to getting your technique and fundamentals and form down pretty hard, Pat. Like,
I feel like
quick.
in that scenario, the skier should be like your size or Bob's size.
Yeah,
Also,
I would agree. Yeah.
like if you're like that and you're me, then what's the point?
Yeah.
And what we've learned this year too is that these are okay to downsize on.
Yeah.
If you're in the middle or if you're a little bit
100%.
lighter.
Yeah. Let's hop on this 6-pack. We'll swap some skis around at the top. I can film the next couple runs and go see what we find.
Cool.
All right, so I am now on the 104 as designated filmer. Bob's going with that 179 that I've been on. Matt's still on 185. All right, Bob, give me your switching from 185 to 179 assessment.
I do notice the drop in the long-term compliance.
Yeah.
Like that is pretty apparent.
You can see it, like
yeah.
following both of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I have to, if I knew how to stivot, I feel like
right.
that's what I'm doing a little bit
On
more.
these.
Yeah.
Yep.
Than kind of a longer arc on the 185.
Yep.
I'm still not convinced that I would want the 185 every day because I don't ski like that
Sure.
all the time.
What'd you think in that top section?
In the couloir?
In the couloir,
yeah, it was pretty rugged. I hit a nice chunk in there. That's
Yeah.
what you get when you ski the steeps.
What'd you think about the length?
Great.
Yep.
Easy to hop around, you know,
quicker.
like even on that like top part, it's super icy.
Yep.
Like, yeah, jump turn, and then
Yep.
even out. So, and like that's kind of what I do more personally.
Right. Like
versus
that's more your style.
Yeah, versus just high speed
Right.
cruising.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still think I'm in 179 camp on this ski.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Matt, that
Well-
was your second time doing that exact run. What did you think the second time through?
Well, the first time I brought up just grip. This
Yep.
time I'm going to talk about energy.
Oh, okay.
Just because I really felt the pop and the snap at the end of the turns.
carving.
Yep. It just felt great. Like that, the entire time I was like, oh yeah, okay, now I can really push it. And in the 185, I felt totally fine with just not doing any stivots or anything, just letting them run.
Yeah.
But if we're going back to the Coulee, I felt like I didn't really have any issue with the hop turning at all. Like, I think because I would be doing the couloir type skiing and the super fast carving, I would probably go with the 185
That doesn't surprise me
personally.
the slightest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still like, I have mixed feelings.
Sure.
I'm not 100% sold, but I am leaning towards shorter for my personal use.
Do you guys feel like you want another run on those lengths?
Always.
Yeah,
Okay, where do you want to go?
unless you want to do it, and then
Yeah, you should
happy
go
to share.
185.
That's okay, we can do a couple more
Alright.
runs.
Let's go up the quad and see what we find.
Okay.
Do you think, I have a quick question for Bob.
Okay.
Do you think that the shape changes and the slight construction changes are making your decision between 185 and 179 more difficult compared to when we did our Enforcer 94 review and you were pretty dead set on the 179?
It's grayer,
Okay.
but it's not as black and white as old Enforcer 100, where the 186 felt pretty long.
Okay.
I think I would definitely go 179 in the older ski.
Gotcha.
So that's a starker difference than our 94 discussion earlier.
Gotcha.
Ready to go to the quad?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so it's been 2 runs since our last chat. Thinking back 2 runs, your Centerline to Tyro run.
Yep.
How'd it feel? Those short turns on the side of Centerline looked awesome.
I mean, that's my jam. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
I really enjoy that type of skiing.
Yeah.
And fast forward to that run when you were going really fast on the middle of Liftline, I was doing the same thing on the side.
Sure.
So like those medium turns for me on this 179, even when it's really hard like this, are very rewarding.
Yeah.
Good energy, good grip, excellent stability.
No, that's what it looked like. It just looked like fun.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for much more.
Yeah. Matt, what'd you think on that Centerline lap?
Well, I was on the 185, so a little
Yep.
bit longer, and I had no problem keeping up with your rhythm.
Yeah.
So like I do find them to be just, they can match the quickness of the 179.
I was
But they
impressed
do
by
take
that
some
because
input.
like Bob is quick with his short turns, and I was watching you like pretty intently, just like, oh, look at that, like you're staying like so close and like making really cool short turns.
And it just required a little bit more input, but
Yeah.
nothing crazy. So
Yeah.
You feel like the whole initiation, like
Sure.
from tip to tail, like as soon as you put a little bit of movement into it, you really feel the whole ski engage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a complete and consistent experience.
Totally. You
And
guys
then-
both looked great on Tyro too.
Yeah, that was fun. I
Bend-
tried to kind of match
Bending the ski over, yeah.
Matt's turns a
Yeah, you
little
guys
bit,
had
but
some nice synchronized skiing there for a moment.
It was a good synchronized run overall.
Actually, that was your second synchronized skiing moment
Oh,
of this
cool.
morning. I can't remember where the last one is. It's probably on camera somewhere. And then I switched to the 185 at the top. That was my first time skiing Liftline this year, and honestly, I think that's the fastest I've skied it since when I tried to ski it as fast as I could on an Enforcer 104. Sorry, Matt. Sorry for kind of like subtly forcing you into that filming situation.
I said okay. I was ready to go.
It was super fun, and I love making clean round carves on Enforcers.
Yeah,
I also love just like the raw stability at speed.
right.
Like I can't think of a ski that I would like feel more comfortable doing that on.
Yeah,
Especially like that's why I chose the Enforcer 104 last time I like skied Liftline super fast, because it's stable and damp but easy edge release if you get in trouble. And now with the new tail rocker on this ski, it's kind of got a little bit of that same personality.
right. Like on the old 100, would you feel comfortable just making like that quick flick at the end?
Not as
Not as
comfortable.
much,
Like
right?
I know I could do it, but
Yeah.
that's where it gets nerve-wracking doing stuff like that, because the ski fights you a little bit.
Yeah.
Where this didn't fight you at all.
Yeah,
So that was super fun. Thanks, guys.
that was fun.
Thank you.
We just skied like 15,000 vertical feet. Did you
Pretty
know
quick,
that?
pretty quick too.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
make it easy.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, these things eat up vertical feet.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Especially if you just ski Liftline in a minute.
right.
That was so fun. I'm still buzzing a little bit from that run. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want more technical details, I was going to mention this earlier, go back and watch kind of our introduction overview video, because we go through all the construction changes and stuff like that. And if you have any questions about these Enforcer 99s, just let us know and we will talk to you soon.
That was the most loose I've ever done.